Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you in here with us this afternoon. Hey, we're anticipating a great afternoon, a great show. We got two great guys in with us, and I got me a new host in with me this afternoon. Some of y'all probably seen him on our show before and seen him around. He's going to help me this afternoon. Aaron had called in, like at work, he called in sick. Guys, Chad, glad to have you in. And Chad, what
glad
you
to
got
be
to
here,
say,
guys.
man?
Hey, glad to be here. I appreciate it, guys.
Guys, if y'all coming into the show, if you would, I want you to tag a couple of friends here. Make sure you tag them if you would. Share this right here post, and let's get some viewers in. And we're going to get ready to start to have a great show. We got two guests in with us, and I'm going to open up first with he's also been on here with us before. I've had the opportunity of talking to Tommy, meeting Tommy, and we got Tommy Vaughn. He is a guide out there in Texas. Ain't that right, Texas?
Oklahoma.
Northeast. Excuse me.
Yep.
Hey, man, introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself, right, Tommy?
Well, Tommy Vaughn, and I got no wake guide service, and I'm up here in Northeast Oklahoma, and we guide for spoonbill, catfish, as you guys call them, stripes. Some people call them whites, crappie. We do bow fishing, so if it's in the water, we're either going to shoot it, snag it, or catch it. And we pretty much run all year long. So got the 240 Sea Arc with a full enclosure that allows us to do that. So.
Well, Tommy, let me ask you this before I go any further. You was just a couple weeks ago in some kind of bow fishing tournament. Is that correct? What was that about?
That was the Bass Pro US Open. It's one of our national tournaments we shoot. And we didn't shoot the best that night, but we shot good enough for an $8,500 check for a big grass carp. So,
wow.
Second year in a row that back shooting big fish at the Bass Pro US Open. So it's been a good, successful tournament for us.
Now, let me ask you this. I'm just curious about this, probably like a lot of other viewers. When you go to something like that, that name sounds like it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. You're shooting against 150 to 200, maybe 250 boats from across the country. And it's just a catfishing tournament. I mean, you'll spend a week there scouting, doing your homework, water levels, water clarity. I mean, you got to pay attention to every detail. And then it's tournament hours. And usually it's the biggest 20 fish on weight will win the tournament.
Now, when you talk about biggest 20 fish, is there a certain species or is there several different species you can have?
You can have several different species, but they're all what I call rough fish. It'll be your carp, your gar, your long-nosed gar. I mean, fish that are invasive to our waters that aren't natural anyway.
Well, let me ask you this. What about an alligator gar?
They do have a tournament for them. They're really starting to tighten some stuff up about alligator gar. You can still catch them. In the Trinity River, I know you cannot shoot an alligator gar. I believe.
Well, them things get huge, don't they?
They get huge. Hell, man, Mr. Zack was down there with Mr. Charles last year in just an hour this side of Houston catching alligator gar on the riverbank.
Wow. Well, hey, guys, I want to also introduce y'all. We got another guest in with us. This is Zack. Zack, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself, our man, and what you do.
All right. Well, thanks for having me in, Stacy. And my name's Zack Rumple. I own and operate BZ Guide Service here in Northeast Oklahoma on Grand Lake. Along me and Tommy fish the same water. We do spoonbill, catfish, white bass or sand bass or stripes, and crappie as well. We fish 365 days a year. We're also out of a Pro Cat 240 that allows us to put the enclosure and the heater on. And, we primarily fish on Grand Lake here in Northeast Oklahoma, but we'll travel a little bit to Uligal and Fort Gibson if needed, depending on what the water conditions are here at Grand. But other than that, we're just full-time on the water and having fun.
Now, do y'all guide about every day of the week?
Yeah, the only days you have off are the ones you schedule, and ain't nobody can schedule them but you. So you got to remember to do that.
Well, I'm gonna ask you this now, Zach, because he opened this door a while ago about you and Charles had caught a alligator gar. Now, did y'all catch him or did y'all shoot him?
Nope. He's talking about there at the Trinity River when we went down there. And me, Tommy, and Charles went down and caught some. I think Charles caught a 6'9" was the biggest one we caught. And then we ended up on day 2. We couldn't get any big ones, so we went below the dam. And Whiffy McWhiffy here that's on the show with us, I bet he whiffed about 6 times in a row. We got videos of this guy swinging and missing more than anybody trying to hit home runs. It was good stuff.
Now, did y'all, Zach, did y'all catch the alligator gar on rod and reel? Is that what y'all done?
Yeah, we did there at Trinity River. And also when Tommy was talking about, the only thing I could think about, you don't even need a bow and arrow to catch alligator gar. All you need is an 8-foot flex rod from Meat Hunter. We caught that 84.5 pounder there at Texoma during the Cat Masters back in January. That was pretty wild.
Now, let me just go. I know that people on here waiting for some catfishing, but this is something that I'm interested in. When I got you here, I'm going to ask about this. Did y'all, when you fishing for these alligator gar, was y'all intentionally trying to focus on that? And if so, what was the bait and stuff that how was y'all doing that? Down
at obviously at Texoma, we were hunting big catfish for 40 grand, not no alligator gar for a stage presence. But that's what we got, and we'll take it. Anyhow, but at the Trinity River, we were targeting them with, I believe it was carp and drum heads. And, I mean, they were using bait the size of both of your fists and just a little bitty treble hook, probably like a number 4 or something, and just hooking it in the nose. And once them alligator gar would bite it, I don't believe he had any weight, did he, Tommy? And a slip cord. And he'd put the rods in the bank, and we'd just leave them. And then we'd come back, and if the float was floating down the river or going back up the river, he knew one was on it, so he just re-spool it, and we'd go catch him.
Wow.
It was interesting. Very.
Now, I've heard of people fishing for them with a frayed piece of rope. Do you guys do that? Just take a piece of rope and fray it up and tie it on there, and their teeth get hung up in it.
Yeah, we call them gar getters. Take a spinner on it, like you said, take that nylon rope and unfray it and cast it out there and have the best time ever.
Oh, well, guys, y'all do a lot of fishing, and both of y'all do spoon. We call them spoonbill. Another probably the legal name for them, paddlefish. Is that what y'all call them, spoonbills too?
Yeah, up here in Oklahoma, we're as oaky as you guys down there. They're spoonbill here.
Yeah, I don't know what a paddlefish is. So y'all do that right there, and y'all catch some monsters. Ain't that right?
That's true.
We catch some nice. They say with our river systems being so long, we don't have a lot of locks and dams, so they can actually run up and spawn here. So they don't stock any of them. They're all naturally reproduced because females will lay their eggs, and the males come over the top and fertilize them, and they just roll down the river. So that we have to have a lot of good flow into the lakes at that time. And then that's how our population stays so great here.
Wow. Now I'm going to put a plug in for y'all, because one of the things that I've seen that y'all probably most noticed for is y'all's guys going out for spoonbills. Share a little bit about that. I know there's some viewers, because that's on my list of things to do, Tommy. I'm going to come and get on the boat. Maybe I'll probably wait now since you're going to get that new boat coming in. But I'm wanting to come out there, and I'm wanting to get on the boat, maybe me and you and Zach, and we can go in looking for that exclusive 100-pounder. Because I've seen y'all catch some monsters. Share a little bit of, Zach, y'all share a little bit about what y'all do, the seasons y'all run y'all's spoonbill guides, and let me know what a big spoonbill is for y'all. I want to hear this.
Well, up till last summer, we used to only run those spoonbill trips between about probably Halloween to Thanksgiving, all the way into the 1st of May, end of April. However, last summer we were all out just playing around on a day off. Imagine that, fishing. And we were up the river and seen some, and I believe it was me, Tommy, Tanner, and Tyler, the guy that works for me on my boat, Tyler King. And we caught several, and then we just started trolling for them at that point. And last summer was just exceptionally well. I don't know that anybody in this lake or northeast Oklahoma realized what the spoonbill do here in the summertime in Grand Lake, but apparently they moved back up the river and they're easy to catch. And we were trolling them dipsy divers at 5 to 5.5 miles an hour, and all depending on how deep the water is or what the fish are in. You know, if the fish are in 40 foot, then you just times it by 2 and let out 80 feet of line. And if you can't hit them there, make a couple passes, then you can let out 5 to 10 feet of the line at a time. And you'll end up getting that dialed in, because every reel with a line counter is not the same. Depends on how much line you have on the spool versus how much this one has on the spool. This one is more or less. So you'll have to really pay attention to that if you want to get that technical with it.
Well, I did notice, Zach, probably when I first come out with my rod holders, Tommy was one of the first, probably the first guy that had them. And they sent me a video of him trolling with a meat hunter, looked like a big game pro, doubled over, pulling it 5 miles an hour at least. And they hit a spoonbill like he's 60 or 70 pounds. And I knew then, I said, well, that put the test of that rod holder right there and that rod.
I don't know that there's much
that's how
equipment than spoonbill snagging.
Yeah. Do what, Tommy?
I said that's how we met Charles. It's like, hey, you got these great rods, but we've been using them forever. Zach and I both have it. Said, if you haven't been spoonbilling, bring them out and we'll show you what they're made of. And sitting there when you're going 5.5 mile an hour, hitting a 60-pound fish that's going the opposite direction, you're going to test everything in that boat, from the boat, the rod holders, yourself, the rods, everything. So it's a different, I call it redneck deep sea fishing.
That's what it is.
Well, I know the day that I seen it, and I think that I had contacted Charles, and I told Charles, I said, Charles, I need that video. I said, you need to put this video up. I said, because I'm telling you, it's going to take some good equipment to stay with these boys day in and day out. It's going to take some. I said, I'm telling you, your dollar store special stuff ain't going to be able to hang trolling at 5 miles an hour, hitting a 70 and 80 pound spoonbill. I'm telling you.
It's like hitting a stump, isn't it?
No.
Yeah. Not like a semi going down the interstate. You just hold on until it's over.
Yeah. Hey, but guys, out when y'all out guiding, y'all guide for spoonbills, and y'all do that is sort of seasonal for y'all in the fall. And you said the spring, fall, and the winter. Is that correct?
Yeah, but with the Garmin Live Scope, it's kind of opened the game up a little bit to where Missouri has a 45-day season on them. Here in Oklahoma, we don't have a season on them, so we can catch them all year round. However, our Mondays and Fridays are release days only as of right now. I think that's subject to change this fall. But, and much over 60 pounds, I believe that most of the spoonbill guides, not only here on Grand, but throughout the state, like Jeremiah that's on the meat hunter team down there at Keystone, we always try to throw them bigger females back in the lake.
Yeah. How many, here's a question that was asked. How many can y'all catch or snag a day? What's the deal with that?
Okay. You can catch and release all you want. Oklahoma, we don't have a limit. So we use a barbless hook, and you can catch and release all you want. Once you tag a fish, you are done paddle fish or spoonbill fishing for that day. And you can keep 2 per year. And I know I've made some posts before where people are like, well, those fish are endangered, or, there's not many of them. They try to keep the population at 125,000 to 150,000 just in Grand Lake. That's not the existing waters around us. So I wanted to get that clear, that these fish aren't endangered. We got large populations, and it's very healthy too.
Yeah.
Hey, Stacy, Go ahead.
If I was a client coming out to fish with you, I could not keep but one today. And if I come back and fish tomorrow, I could keep one. Then I'm through for the year. No more for me. Is that correct?
Well, you can come back. Yeah, but you could come back, say if you did that today and tomorrow, that you could come back Friday and still catch and release all you wanted.
Yeah.
You just could not.
Keep. There was another question on here. There's a lot of questions on here about the spoonbill. Do y'all eat them? And somebody asked, want to know, do y'all eat them?
You can. I've had several different guys tell me how they cooked it. They smoke it, grill it, or bake it, or pan fry it. A lot of guys will cube it up about the size of the end of your thumb. A good friend of mine down in Oklahoma City, he soaks it in heavy mustard water overnight, and some people put it in buttermilk. But that's the best way I found out. I don't eat a lot of fish anyway, surprisingly, but we just don't eat a lot of fish here at the house.
Hey, I could have answered the question for them because I grew up on the Alabama River at a time as a teenager and an older teenager that we had spoonbill and they was not endangered here. If we caught it, we eat it. We eat spoonbill, we eat drum, we eat eel, we eat cat. If you come to my house at that time in the 80s and Daddy told you we was having fish to eat, you allowed to be eating eel, drum, catfish, or spoonbill. They just all got fried up all in the same spot.
I've had like a lobster or crawfish boil or something. They call it poor man lobster because it's a steaky white texture meat. So you can do so much. It's not flaky like a regular fish. It's a real steak-like texture. So.
Yeah. Somebody asked me here a while ago, and let me go back to this. I don't know where it was at, but they asked about the image of a spoonbill showing up.
It was Jack Butler. He asked what a spoonbill looked like on a graph.
Wait, let me ask you. I know that y'all running, both of y'all run live scope, or do y'all have some hummingbirds or some Lowrance too?
I run Lowrance on the dash, and then I've got another Lowrance for mapping and 2D up front, along with the Garmin up front as well. But when we're trolling around snagging, we're using what's on our dash, because we're running with our big engine. I'm looking on my phone right now to see if I can find a 2D version because I believe Tommy's using his phone, so he probably won't be able to find one. But it's just a big old arch, almost probably like a catfish.
Yeah.
Unless you're on down scan or side imaging, then you can see the shadow on the side of if it hits the fish just right, you'll see the bill and everything.
I was going to share this, Zach, because what I've run into is on my DI, on my regular sonar, go back to my sonar, that when I run over them, you're like, hey, man, here's some monster catfish in here. Then when I go to my down imaging, then that spoonbill shows up pretty good. I mean, there's no question. When you put him on your down imaging, them big ones, you can see that bill very distinctly sticking out there.
Absolutely.
Another thing you got to be really careful of on your 2D is picking up giant long-nosed gar, because we have giant long-nosed gar here, and they will look like a paddlefish too till you go down to your down imaging.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed just on the catfishing side, and we don't have them giant long. We do have some long-nosed gar, but they ain't very big here. But I have noticed, man, when you go in them when it spoonbills, you would think you in some monster catfish. And I have come and just spot locked on top of them and dropped stuff down, turned to my down image and look down there, and it's just big old spoonbills down there.
Yeah.
And they do look a lot alike on the sonar until you go to that down image. And so I do want to let some people know, because if they're out searching and scanning for catfish and they do see some monsters there may be a chance that them are spoonbill. I know where I'm from, at a certain time of the year, you can find them spoonbills, and there's gonna always be. It seems like every time I've seen them, there's a lot of them in a big group. And you would think, hey, man, we own some monster catfish. Look at them. And then when you get looking in, them ain't catfish. That's them spoonbills. But I have noticed there always a lot of them together.
And you probably are not going to see them tucked real tight to the bottom.
No, they don't. They up in that water column.
Wherever that plankton, wherever they're comfortable is where they're going to be sitting. They're not going to be just laying right on the bottom.
There's a rumor around here anyway that, the spoonbill dig up the bottom with their bills or whatever and then filter feed it. That's not true. That's where, the live scope has taught us so much about these fish. And, it's a miracle that we hit them anyway, trolling around. The amount that these fish move around, it may take you a mile to chase one down with a Garmin live scope and actually get it hit. It depends on how good you are, to set up the boat along with the fish and your customer in there, trying to get them to, read the live scope left to right and all that and hit it. It's really amazing how they feed. You can watch them feed. They'll feed upside down, sideways. They run into stuff all the time. It's wild.
Wow.
Wow.
Now I'm gonna go back to one more thing while I'm here, because I've run into some of this stuff, and this is another question, because when I run into these spoonbill on my local river that I was on, I also noticed that they was in there with a bunch of shad. Now they don't eat shad, do they?
No.
But one thing that I did notice is them shad eating that plankton too, that stuff. And because I put that together, and I said, I found out, man, when you find these big spoonbills in these certain spots, just sort of concentrated, I always find shad there. Them shad, and they down there with them spoonbills, and you look like they down there where they feeding on it, but they all just eating the same thing.
Yep.
And we noticed a lot too here in the wintertime when all the shad and the blues and everything moved to the river channel. You can go along and just be rows and rows of shad, and then as soon as that shad ball stops, then you'll see your spoonbill. A lot of times they don't like getting in there with them real tight, because I think they get in their gills or they mess with them and stuff. So if you see out there and you see a mile of shad, as soon as you break off, start looking for those spoonbill.
I got you. Well, next thing I'm going to get to is y'all doing some catfishing out there. Do both of y'all fish from Grand Lake?
Yes.
Yep.
So y'all carry clients out catfishing also. At this time of the year, I know I just got through talking to Tommy. Tommy, you said you went out and y'all put several of the eaters in the boat. Ain't that correct?
Yeah, we had a trip last Thursday, and we went out and fished mid-lake and found about a 10-foot hump we set on, fan casted all the way around it, and pulled out 27 eaters. And, our eaters, we're going to say, are all under 10 pounds. We just have tons of eaters.
Yeah. Now, let me ask y'all this. When you're out there, you're carrying clients out, is there a certain bait that y'all using to target these smaller fish like this, or y'all use the same bait if you was fishing for small ones versus big ones, or what do you do?
A lot of the times I'll use pretty much the same. Now, the only thing that I've done as the water's gotten warmer is I've knocked my bait size down quite a bit, to where in the wintertime I'll use a live shad, maybe a 6-inch or a 12-inch shad. And a lot of times when I'm using that live bait, I'll put one hook in the nose, and then sometimes I'll put another side hook down by the tail. That way, if it is a smaller fish, and the amount of small fish that we catch off that tail hook is very impressive. You'll have a shad this long, and it'll be 12 inches, and you'll have a little 1.5 pound blue trying to eat the sucker down there somehow. But I use a lot of crappie. We can use game fish here in Oklahoma as long as it's caught by the mouth and not by a net, and then little small chunks of white bass. And that's that's the most bait I use. I'll use a little bit of drum, but it just don't seem like I can catch them here on Grand. Now, if I go an hour from here to Ulagal, them catfish over there seem to like the drum a little bit better than here.
Now, somebody asked a while ago, we're talking about the spawn, and I want to ask y'all this question, help the viewers here get through this, because one of the things I struggle with is this time of the year. in my home body of water around June, it is really tough. There is some certain places that I like to try to just, if I was on fish right now, I'd go target, but the spawns seem to be a different, I mean, it's really tough here where we at trying to catch decent sized catfish, them big ones. Do y'all run into the same thing with that? And if you're going to just target fish, is there something different that you do versus, you know, any other time in the spawn of the year? Do you just go looking for some more eaters, or do you looking for bigger fish, or how do y'all do that? What's on your mind about that?
Oh, you waiting on me?
All right.
Don't nobody want to answer that one.
Nobody wants to answer that question, do they?
I was waiting for somebody to say, is it lagging or not?
Hey, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm telling you, I don't have no. I'm like, hey, I don't even hardly. I just seem not even fish much in June.
Way here, me and Zack were both out. And we were talking about it. I fished a spot Thursday that I'd never fished, and the wind was blowing in the back of a pocket, and there was bait. And we set the boat down and fished it and pulled some eaters out. I mean, those big fish right now are they're just hard to get. I mean,
They're on lockdown.
The big flathead way up the river and really set out. But like we were talking earlier, it's hard to do with customers to set 2 or 3 hours on a couple big flatheads. But our big fish, they're hard. So we're just looking for windblown points just to catch the best of good eaters right now. The same thing. It's tough.
Yeah.
And
I would tell anybody, and this is just my own, not that I've been very successful at it, but this time of the year, if I was going to try to target any kind of bigger fish, I'd be up there pressed up against that dam somewhere or another, somewhere close to it, and some rocks or something. It seems like I can catch a few decent ones in them rocks around the dam, but it's tough regardless of what you do. Let me ask y'all this question. I don't know if y'all keep up with this or not. Do y'all keep up with the pressure, maybe them bluebird days? There was a question here. How do you fish high pressure fish? Maybe the pressure. I think when it's got them bluebird days and stuff, the pressure should be up. Or do y'all even worry with that? Or is there something different that y'all do?
For when it comes to the pressure and all that, I'm not one that I pay attention to that. I'm more or less looking at the wind and if I can get it more than one consecutive day out of the same direction. And I mean, on like this time of the year, you know, I'm targeting probably hand size, fist size rocks, maybe a little bit bigger, something that there's looking for some spawning grounds. Hopefully it's got some wind blowing in it. And if we can get some high water right now, get in the bushes.
Yeah. You got anything you want to add to that, Tommy?
No, it's kind of the same thing Zack was talking. It was weird because our water temps have stayed so cold. We had that hard freeze that I think even hit down south to you guys. What is March into February? And that's really kept our temps down. Today's the first day we've seen 74 degree water, 72, 74. We were stuck at 60 degrees forever, 65. So it's kind of delayed everything. So, and the spawn, you know, it's slow. Everything's dragging out. So it just makes it that much harder, not knowing what's trying to spawn, what's trying to get back. You know, that's how you get gray hairs being a guide.
Hey, now, Zack, you made mention you watch the wind and you're looking for something consistent for a day or two in a certain direction. What do you go from there? What do you do if you got it blowing so out of the west for 2 days? What do you do?
A lot of the times I'll just burn some bank. I'll get up there in that 1 foot of water, maybe less or not less. I guess that's about as shallow as I can get that sea arc in with them float pods. But I'll get up in there and side scan with that Lowrance, and sometimes I'll come out. I figure for me, my best contour lines in Grand Lake that I feel like that are the most productive for me for fish over 30 inches is probably anywhere from about 2 foot to 10 foot. We've caught some bigger ones out deeper than that, and I know a lot of guys probably caught them in the Cat Masters out there that deep, but day in and day out, that's about the most solid contour line that I can find. Now, if I can get a wind blowing in the same direction, like you said, I'll set up on the east side of the lake and let it just crash into it.
Yeah. So you over there where that wind, which direction that wind is blowing, you get on that bank where it's pounding at, where the wind's pounding on that bank.
I want the most harsh conditions I can find for that day, and I want to get right in the middle of it.
Yes, sir. Now let me ask you this: what do you think causes them fish to be there? Is it just blowing a bunch of the bait fish over there? You know, I've always been told, you know, if you follow that wind, it's blowing them bait fish across there or whatever. But we know it's blowing a lot of other stuff, which leads them bait fish over there. Is that what you think?
I think, you know, it's blowing that microscopic zooplankton over there, what the shad are eating. The shad are just like every other fish. They're a predator fish. They've got to eat too. So they're going to follow whatever their food's doing, and everything's going to follow them. But not only is it blowing the plankton and the shad over there, but it's also, you got them waves crashing in there. And you ever been to the ocean and stand on the beach and let all that sand come out from underneath your feet when them waves crash? What do you think them crawdads are happening to them underneath them rocks? They're getting rolled out of there and shoved right back out to them fish. Mm-hmm. That's what I think's going on.
Yeah.
You know, you just got that undertow, and it's just turning and turning. And them fish are sitting out there probably 3 or 4 foot off that bank where it's just kicking all that stuff right back to them.
Yeah.
Hey, Stacy, Dale said give away some pliers.
Well, I tell you what we're going to do right now. Let's go ahead and let's give away a pair of Dale's tackle pliers. We're going to stop and take a small break right here, and we're going to give a pair of Dale's tackle pliers away. And Tommy, while we're doing this, there was this Isaac Strong. I want you to tell a little bit about Isaac Strong. I think y'all was in a part of the meat hunter crew, carried him out fishing. Is that correct? Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, last year we met Isaac and his dad Alex. It was Zack and myself and Mr. Charles, and he wasn't able to go to Disney World because of COVID, and they had a Make-A-Wish deal and it wasn't able to grant it. Well, Charles reached out to his dad, and because Charles had the same thing with his boy, Little C, and they just connected. They just were talking about things going on, and I don't know, little Isaac grew on us. Charles says, hey, got this young man, can't go to Disney World, can we take him fishing? We hopped in. Been a great day with him fishing, had a fish fry for him and stuff, and hung out. And so now they're having a Joey Middleton's putting on a big catfish tournament for him, and it's called the BKPC Nation Isaac Strong Classic, and that's going to be Saturday, October 16th at Scottsboro, Alabama. So that is a great one to put on the calendar.
Hey, Joey, I know Joey was in with us on this show. Joey, if you would just put there in the comments. But anyway, Joey, remind me of this as we get closer, and we will do our best to promote what's going on here. And guys, we appreciate everything that y'all doing.
You know, that Isaac and that whole deal, we've all got stories of taking kids out fishing and people out. But I read a deal earlier that was saying disabilities do not handicap outdoorsmen. And that's something I think it's really important that we all could do more of, is taking people out like that, because it's very rewarding.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Joey Middleton does several benefit tournaments and stuff like that. He does a lot of them.
You can go to the BKPC Nation for info. Adam Isaac just put this on here, so you can find some info on this on the BKPC. That's a tongue twister. I ain't gonna try it again. BKPC Nation for information. We appreciate it, Joey. We thank you so much for all that you do. There's also a catfishing for a cause that's going to take place here just in a couple of weeks up in around Russellville. Ain't that correct?
Yeah, it's Russellville, Arkansas, June 19th at 7 a.m. And that's the Challenged Outdoorsman of America, Arkansas chapter. And that's where I got that saying from, disabilities do not handicap outdoorsmen. I seen that today and that just stuck. Zack and I was even able to host Kinsey out. Charles, we took her spoonbilling. And I'll let Zack tell a little bit about that story. You got to hear some of this. So all right, Zack, let's hear it.
No, it was a great day. Of course, there on Grand, and we met Kinsey there first thing out of the morning, and we left out. I think Charles and Rob were a little behind. We ended up doing a fish fry after we got back. I don't even remember how many fish we caught. Quite honestly, my face is still hurting from laughing and smiling so much that day. Just no matter what we done, she glowed, we glowed. I mean, her parents were, Mike and her mom were great, and Mike still comes fishing with us quite a bit. He usually gets a lot of grief because last time he came, Kinsey didn't get to come with him. So I got to give him trash for that the whole day. But no, it was a great deal. Getting Kinsey out there, you know, with that Sea Arc, you can get them motorized disability chairs in there. You know, we've got enough room on them 240s for two of them. And, you know, nothing better than getting those kids and people out like that, you know, that don't think they can, you know, don't think that you can't, because you can, because we've got a way.
Yes, sir. And I want to just share this with the viewers who are listening. I am a firm, and I know people know that I'm a man of faith. I believe in the process of sowing and reaping. And one of the things I'm gonna tell you guys, it just does something to me. The thrill, the excitement. I get just as excited as anybody. Yeah. I get more excited when I've got one of these kids, one of these even grown adult with me that's wanting to experience something like this. It hasn't had the opportunity. He hangs into a big one. I'm telling you, talking about feeling the reward is priceless.
I agree.
To be able to see the look on their face, the excitement of being able to land something like that is priceless.
Absolutely.
And I want to encourage everyone, if you have never done this, I know somebody probably in your local town. It's not hard to find somebody who's wanting to go out. It's not hard to find a little kid that don't have a dad in his life that has ever even took up time with him to carry him fishing. He wants to go. You can grab him and hey, I always tell him, if you get your uncle or something to go with you, I'm going to carry you. And everything we hook up with, you know. And I want to share this story because I carried a one-armed guy fishing with me. He wanted to go fishing, and when he caught one, it was his right arm was the one that they had taken off. So he had his left hand, but I had right-handed reels. Hey, I gotta say, man, he was a game player, you know. I stuck the rod in the rod holder and
flip it upside down.
And I'm just like, reel on him until we get him in. We got to make plans. But I'm telling you, doing something like that day, me and that guy had a blast. Yeah. And we had a fun day. So you've never experienced something like this. It is very rewarding just to be able to see this. Hey, guys, the winner of the Dale's Tackle Pliers, Connor McPherson. Connor, if you would send me a message, you can send it to SmackDown CatFishing. And or you can send it to me, Stacy Gaston, on Facebook. Send me that. Let me know that you won the Pliers and send me your address, and I will forward that to Dale's Tackle. I'm going to give away here at the end of this program, I'm going to give away a set of 4 SmackDown rod holders, your choice of colors. 4 4-inch SmackDown rod holders. These right here have been donated by Troy Smith at Rocko's Grocery. 8365 East State Highway 106. This is the metropolitan area of Georgiana, Alabama.
Guys, I've been there. Don't blink.
Hey, I'm carrying on because Georgiana don't even have a traffic light. I think it may have two four-way stops, but that's
I was
about
going
it.
to say, is there even a stop sign there, Stacy?
Yeah. And Troy has got famous over the, what is that? How much is that steak he's selling?
$1.99 a pound.
$1.99 a pound. Prime ribeye steaks, guys. But I think the prices went up since we put that $1.99 a pound. We carry on with him. I don't know who gave him that. You or
I think it was Joey.
Joey giving that sort of title right there. But guys, I want to thank Troy Smith at Rocko's Grocery so much for your contributions to this program and for all you do. Guys, if you're in this area, if you need diesel fuel, if you're looking for breakfast in the mornings, go by and see him. He can take care of you throughout the day. He is a working man store. He's open at 4:30 in the morning, and he's open on up to 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So go by and see him. Thank you again, Troy.
He's got that breakfast pizza. Stacy will go by there and get him a slice of in the morning.
Breakfast pizza. Every now and then, he got some barbecue sandwiches I really like. He does them, I think, on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I actually call him, so I get over in the mornings. He won't have them out for breakfast because everybody don't eat barbecue sandwiches for breakfast. But he have them back in the back. And I asked him, I said, man, you got any of that barbecue meat back there? You getting ready for today at lunch? If you want to go back there and go ahead and make me a barbecue sandwich.
Oh, Troy's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Well, listen, tonight we have had a blast. I want to give y'all a few more minutes here, starting with you, Tommy. I want you to share a little bit about your guide service, how to get in touch with you, the name of your guide service, your Facebook. Make sure you know about that. Tell them about that. And if you've got a shout out you want to give to anybody, I want you to throw that in there.
All right, guys. You can follow me at No Wake Guide Service, and we're on Facebook and Instagram, or you can get a hold of us at No Wake Guide Service at Gmail. I know some of you guys were asking about an image of paddlefish on the graph. Just hit us up, or Tommy Vaughn, hit me up on Messenger on Facebook. We answer questions all the time. We're on the phone all the time. Like I said, guys, we're here 365. You ever get up here in Northeast Oklahoma, Zack and I's here. Today we were fishing 10 foot apart from each other. So we're good friends, you know. We always have a great time on the water doing crazy things and having fun. Man, I'd like to thank Meat Hunter Rods, SmackDown CatFishing, Sea Arc Boats. Trying to thank everybody right now, put on the spot. But everybody that stayed with us, that made us all this work, and appreciate every guys. I'm looking forward to everything that's going to happen this year. And if it wasn't for God, man, we wouldn't be blessed like this. And I do want to say one thing. If you get one person out there that you could take fishing and change their life, if we could do one trip a year and we all did it, this world would be in a lot better place.
Yes, sir. Zack, would you let us know a little bit about what you're doing?
All right. Like I said, I got a Facebook page, an Instagram, and a TikTok that's BZ, capital B, capital Z Guide Service. Again, here in Northeast Oklahoma. My phone number is always open as well. It's 918-998-FISH, 3474. But and then, you know, we fish 365 days a year. You know, very fortunate to be able to do what we're doing and have the support that we have up here in Northeast Oklahoma. It definitely beats the heck out of traveling this country, welding for a living in refineries. I don't miss a whole lot of that. I don't know how I survived in the heat with FR clothing and sparks flying all over me next to heat blankets and 9-chrome and a heater. It's crazy. But anyhow, we've got, you know, as far as thanking people, definitely Mr. Charles with Meat Hunter Rods. He's been nothing but great to us with everything. Shoot, he even cooked fish at my wedding for me. You know, who gets to say that? Charles done cooked at the wedding. That's great. You know, my wife, for certain, she's done nothing but support me. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be doing this full time. She kind of shoved me off the ledge and made me either do it sink or swim. Bud's Bait up in Joplin, they're a big supporter of us. Harms Lures out of Warsaw, Missouri. He makes some crappie stuff and has some divers for the spoonbill, and he also has rattle and shad that we use for our catfish rigs. Sea Arc Boats for making the boat that they got to allow us to take not only all the customers that we've take, but the kids and the handicap, and it's a boat that fits everybody in it. And Engel Coolers for keeping our fish fresh on our hot summer days in our coolers.
Yes, sir.
Along with SmackDown for having me here.
SmackDown CatFishing.
That's right.
Listen, it's been an honor of y'all having y'all on here this afternoon, man. Hey, I want to do one more thing. I am going to give away a set of four 4-inch rod holders. That's going to be the very last thing we do here this afternoon. So I'm going to give y'all just a few minutes. And while I'm doing this right here, Chad, I want you to tell a little bit about yourself, man, and give a shout out. Tell them a little bit about yourself, man.
Oh, man, they all know me.
Shout out to somebody, give a shout out.
Yeah, they all know me. I like to thank Dale. Dale does a lot. Dale Dunaway takes care of us with Dale's tackle. SmackDown CatFishing. Stacy does a lot for the catfishing community, and just a bunch of class act guys right there.
You're gonna have to give me just a second.
Hey, Dale posted on here. He's heard I would bring hot ribs to the boat ramp for a shad skipjack donation. Stacy.
Hey, you will bring. I gotta tell this about old Chad. Me and Troy was out fishing. It's hard to have a friend, man. It's great to have a friend that will bring you a slab of barbecue ribs and a whole chicken barbecued.
That's right.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what a real fisherman does. I just laid the plate in the bottom of the boat and went to eating.
That's right.
I don't even think he wiped a skipjack off his hands.
Skipjack and everything, man.
The Catmaster tournament here at Grand Lake, we're using fish grippers just to turn our brats. We didn't have no tongs.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do,
That's
man.
right. It don't matter. You got to eat. The fish are eat, so why not? You know, you got to if you want to catch them, you got to eat and think like them.
Y'all give me just a few more minutes. I'm gonna let me get this name here typed in, so you can talk amongst yourself, entertain the people there for a minute, Chad.
Hey, one of the questions on here a little while ago was, do you use line rattles when you're fishing with live bait? I guess they're talking about on your catfishing, not the spoonbill.
I do. I'll use them. I know there's several floats out there. I believe several companies make them, but that Mike Harms there at Harms Lure, he sends me them rattle and shad, and I use what I call an Oklahoma rig most generally, rather than a Santee Cooper rig. If I'm struggling, I'll definitely set one up like that, and then it's usually game time no matter what. You can at least put some eaters in the boat with it. But
how about you, Mr. Tommy?
Yeah.
Do what?
Do you use line rattles when you're catfishing?
I would say 50% of mine have set up with line rattles on them. And then the other 50%, I'm just straight on the bottom with them. But, yeah, I like them, especially if we can get up around those willows where you're trying to float it up there in 6-8 inches of water. It definitely helps getting that bait up there just a touch off the bottom.
Wow.
I want to share this story. Hey, let me go this right here. I want to share something. The winner of the rod holders, where is this at? Brandi Hall McWhirter. Brandi, if you would, message me on SmackDown CatFishing with what color. We have them in several different colors there. We got them in black, red, blue. Got them in Tommy Vaughn orange and neon green. Hey, just message me what color you want and give me your address, and I'm going to get these 4 rod holders out to you.
Stacy, I've been watching the chat tonight, and I believe she said earlier when it first kicked off, she was a first-time viewer on the show.
Is that right?
Awesome.
Hey, first-time viewer?
That's right.
Winner. First time right here.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Right off the rip.
Hey, I want to share this. Because years ago, they had a little thing that come out on the commercials, and it called it, I think it was a pedazzle kit, that you had little stuff you could just glue on your clothes and stuff. Well, the first time my wife went out fishing with me, and I had me some line rattles, she looked at me, she said, "You got that thing all pedazzled up, don't you?"
Oh.
I guarantee it.
Hey, Tommy, that's my pedazzle rig.
There you go.
Yeah, but as a sinker.
All pedazzled up. Guys, I've enjoyed tonight, man. I have had a good time. I want to share one thing, and I'm going to close with this. I want y'all to listen before y'all jump off of here. This is found in the book of Matthew in chapter 4 and verse 14. And I think it's got something to do with what we've been talking about tonight about, he says, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." And guys, I want to leave y'all with this week. Let your light shine. I think one time I heard something, and it said, I want to think it made a comment. It's hard to curse or talk about the darkness if you're not willing to be a light. And God has called us to be a light in a dark place. God bless y'all this afternoon. Y'all have a great week, and we look forward to seeing y'all back again here this time next week. Guys, Zach, Tommy, thank y'all so much for being a part of our program, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks, man.
Thank y'all, Stacy. Appreciate y'all, brother.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good
We'll
night.
see y'all later.
All righty.
Y'all hang on.